Deep in the ocean, an orca pod is on the hunt. But these aren't your average orcas. These guys are organized.
Marketing team, did you get those social media posts scheduled for the SEAL migration?
Aye, Captain. We even have an automated notification for all pod managers when they go live.
They use Monday.com to keep their teamwork sharp, their communication clear, and their goals in sight. Monday.com. For whatever you run, even orcas. Go to Monday.com to dive deeper.
Well, I don't see the point in waiting any longer, so let's bring her out. The star attraction, the one you came to see. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Miss Judy Gold.
Josh actually worked with me in Caroline's.
He was a blast.
And he, all right, first of all, there is something, there's got to be some evil in you. No?
Right?
Yeah, I mean, there must be.
Maybe he's a freak in bed. Like, just a dark
I'm like
freak.
I'm just like happy to be there.
Ugh.
I mean, in general, I'm happy to be in bed.
Right.
He's
Like,
hiding
also
something.
sexually.
So Josh, you won an Emmy this year for, because you're the head writer of John Oliver.
Just a regular. It's all.
I said
the
you're
stuff.
head writer. Okay? On this show, you're the head writer.
Thank you. Yes, I appreciate the promotion.
That show is fucking... The Fuck 2016 show
Oh, thank you.
was... I just want to watch... I want to watch that 2016 blow up, like, every morning when I get up.
It looked amazing. Like, major respect to the field crew and team for making that blow up. Like, people were like, was that real or was that CGI? It looks too incredible. And they, like, really blew it up. And
Oh my God, it totally looked real.
It was incredible.
Yeah. So, Josh, you grew up in on Elm Street.
I did. Wow.
In
very specific.
Yes, in Stoneham, Mass.
I did.
And mother and father.
Yep.
Any siblings?
I have one sister.
How old is she?
She is 28.
Oh my God. If I had to be your younger sister, I'd fucking
She's
hang
amazing.
myself.
My sister's so great.
Right.
She's a physical therapist. She just won an award for physical therapy.
Oh,
She did? Where does she live? I need a PT.
She lives in, well, she does pediatric. So
So another fucking perfect child.
and she lives in Boston and
well,
works.
my son needs PT, and he's 15.
I think that's in her wheelhouse.
But he's 6'5".
And he'll always be your little baby.
Okay, and so she's perfect. And your parents?
They're lovely. They're the best. I just had a couple days with them around Thanksgiving. I was so happy. I hadn't been home all year, so it was very nice to just like sit around.
Do they
with
come
them.
and visit you in New York?
Yeah, they've come a couple times this year.
And what do they do? What are their names, by the way?
My parents are named David and Elian. Yep, and they're both retired. They're recently retired.
What did they do?
My dad was a glazer, so he did. He did.
That's a
no,
Jewish
it's not
name, glazer.
It is a Jewish name, but it's
Okay.
not a Jewish job.
I know.
It's
He glazed
construction. He
stuff?
did like storefronts, like glass storefronts and aluminum. So
That's cool.
Yeah, or he would do like if there was a
Like he's handy?
Yeah, he's very handy.
Wow, that's un-Jewish.
Yeah.
Not whistling on
And
the
he,
one.
and he was great at it. He was like, and he did it for years and years. And my mom worked in various capacities in education. She like trained teachers for a while. She was the head of a small private school for a decade.
Which is, you excelled in school.
I was
course.
I was a good student. I am.
All right, let me just get into. Did you ever have fucking fights with your sister where you beat the shit out of her? She beat the shit out of you.
One time I threw a pear at her. That was like
That's
probably.
it?
I think about it. I mean, we didn't have like knockdown, drag out fights. I remember one time I threw a piece of fruit at her, and I was like, oh, I'll regret this for a long time, and I still do.
God.
Oh my God,
But
that's it.
Did you like pelt it at her? Was it at her head?
Yeah, I
And
know.
what was
I
it?
think
What-
I hit her in the middle.
Okay,
Oh,
and what
good.
was it? The fight about?
I don't remember. It was nothing. And my sister, I guess my sister used to terrorize me when she was very small. Like we used to sit at the dinner table when she was young. We used to sit kind of kitty corner to each other, but she would kick me too much, so they had to move us across
So
the table.
she was like the nudgy little sister.
She was for a little while, and then we got along super starting in high school. And it's like that classic thing that everybody
Right.
says. It was like I would drive her to school and we would listen to music. I'd be like, this is cool. And she'd be like, this is cool. Because she'd never seen anything that was really cool.
Right.
So I'd be like, Weezer's cool. And she's like, it is.
Wow.
Yeah.
It really shaped her.
It was great. We're very close.
Okay, I hate you. And then what about your parents? Did you ever like fight with your parents? Or
I've always had a very easy
oh
relationship
my
with
God, I can't fucking take it. I'm gonna find
Don't
something.
worry, he'll
I was-
die like tomorrow.
them. Yo, yeah, I'm very close to death. That's my big problem.
So
It's like Final Destination.
you went to Brandeis.
I did.
Oh,
A lot of people.
That was
lot
the
of
Tequila
Jews.
Gadola Jew whistle.
Tequila Gadola. All right, so, and you were bar mitzvahed.
I was bar mitzvahed.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you like that?
Not really.
Really?
I've never been that.
You're not that Jewy.
No. Which is also pretty Jewy. To be
And-
like, I'm
but
not
your
that Jewish.
girlfriend has a Jewy last name.
She has a Jewy last name too.
Is she a Jew?
She is.
Okay, so
Fiance now.
all right, so I hate you. And your parents love her?
Yeah,
And you love her parents?
I do.
Oh, God, I'm gonna fucking puke. Okay.
You just sent
And
Judy into another depression.
They all get along. They get along like incredibly well. It's she and my sister are friends.
You're from a functional family marrying someone from a functional family.
Yeah, it's like. pretty
How are you
incredible.
in fucking show business?
Barely.
Okay. So you go to Brandeis. First of all, we did notice that in your high school yearbook.
Oh man,
Ooh, someone just buzzed, tried to get in my.
that's so funny.
Let's see, where is it?
This
oh,
is
it's
probably
over here.
This is probably the most embarrassing thing about
Okay,
me.
ready?
Yeah.
I'm gonna give Hennessy the thumbs up for this. Okay, ready?
Oh, thank you.
Where is it? It starts over here because it has to be 80 pages.
I was deeply embarrassing until like 14 months
Okay,
ago.
let's. Here we go. This you graduated in 2003.
I did.
When I actually turned 40 in 2002. So go fuck yourself. Okay.
To be fair, neither of those things was my responsibility.
Okay. Clubs and extracurriculars. Band, freshman class officer, sophomore class officer, junior class officer, senior class officer. Drama club, math team, National Honor Society, newspaper, peer counselor, peer mediator, Spanish club, Spanish club.
I was in the
I didn't
Spanish
spell
club.
that.
Yeah.
So was
I
I.
developed a kosher spam.
Yeah.
That was
Spamnish Club. Yearbook, Ultimate Frisbee. Superlative nominee for friendliest. Superlative nominee for most theatrical. Superlative nominee for most involved. Also, voted most likely to be famous. You were in Fiddler on the Roof and played modal.
Where's the whistle on that?
And your gaggy senior photo quote was, "I'd like to think the best of me is still hiding up my sleeve."
Yeah, that's actually the
It's
most
a John
embarrassing thing
Mayer
about it. It's a John
quote.
Mayer lyric. Yeah, it's deeply embarrassing. And I didn't even like John Mayer that much. I still stand behind the quote as like a thing I feel constantly. Like every time something good happens, I'm like, well, that's it.
Well, that's
the last
a
good thing.
that's a thing because I'm waiting for something good to happen, but whenever something good happens,
You're waiting
I
for the
think,
other shoe to drop.
No, I go, okay, what bad thing is going to happen
Yeah.
with this? Like,
Oh, interesting.
This is going to be. This sounds great, but there's some
Right.
sort of catch of
What's this monkey's paw
Yeah, yeah,
curse
yeah.
that's happening? Yeah. No, for me it's slightly different. It's like, well, that's the last good thing I'll ever do.
Right,
Anytime
right.
something good happens.
Well, that's not fucking true.
thank
Anyway,
you.
so that you go to Brandeis and then you fucking become a kindergarten teacher.
I taught pre-K for
Pre-K.
4 years. In
Okay.
Arlington, Massachusetts.
Your halo just fell on the floor. Can you fix- Patrick, don't step on his halo, please.
Let me just ultimate frisbee it over to you.
Thank you.
Were you good at Ultimate Frisbee?
No, I was not. But it was fun. I mean, it was just like a thing.
So you're like so confident that you don't even give a shit if you're good at it.
I
You
do-
just want to be fun. You're
I
fun.
do now. I used to like just do stuff. Like I played JV basketball. I tried out the freshman team
Right.
and I didn't make it. And then I tried
Right.
for the JV team and made
Right.
it. And I wasn't good, but I liked it. And I played for a long time. And I would play like, in college, I would just play outside with friends. We would
Right, right.
pick up games. But now I'm just like, oh, my body has betrayed me. It's not gonna. I can't hang even like comics play. I have friends that'll play football or basketball,
Right.
and I work through the weekend, and I always pretend that I'm sad to not be able to go play basketball.
Right.
But really, I'm like, oh,
How
thank
come
God
no
no
one
one's gonna
invites
dunk
me
on
to
me.
those fucking games?
I can get you on the list.
No, I can't. I'm so bad.
Well, Jesus
I can have my son
Christ.
play for me.
Okay.
Oh my God, then we would win. All right. I mean, I'll be the coach. Really? When do they play?
Oh my God, are you kidding me?
Saturdays. I have
If
friends play
Judy
Saturdays and Sundays.
coaches the
Who
comedy
are they?
basketball
Oh,
team,
I don't know. It's like a whole long list, and
Of
it's just
like
like whoever wants to-
30-year-olds?
Yeah.
No, no 50-year-olds.
There might be. I don't think so. Again, I can never go.
Coach Judy.
I hate you.
Welcome to Play It, a new podcast network featuring radio and TV personalities talking business, sports, tech, entertainment, and more. Play it at play.it.
Okay, so you teach kindergarten, which you loved.
It was great. Yeah, I really liked it. It was.
Did everyone think you were like creepy because you were a male kindergarten teacher?
People think that are outside of that world, but
Right.
in the world, people are so grateful because there's no men, right?
Right.
So it was like, I mean, there were times that one or two other guys would work there as assistants, or I had a co-teacher for a little while that was a man, but usually it's like me and 19 women. So
Right.
it's like the parents are just psyched that like,
There's
oh,
a guy.
cool, there's a guy there, and it's like a little,
All the
it's like a
moms are
different
in love with
perspective.
you.
It was lovely.
Did you get any like, hey Josh?
No,
when
never.
you drop off Tiffany, come upstairs. I have something to show you.
Tiffany.
It's wet. And
Let's
pink.
play
I,
mommy and
Pink
I
and
didn't bring
wet.
the kids home.
Pink and wet and pink.
No, it was all very sweet. I like still am in touch with a couple of the families. That's
So when my kids
cool.
went to preschool, daycare, and whatever, and there were guy teachers too, and they, I just went to visit with Henry, who's 20. We just went to visit the other day.
oh, that's so nice.
And it was. I mean, he's like you, really, except he's not like you because many reasons. But he's great with kids and everything. So
Yeah,
it's such a. I mean, you have to be so patient and focused, and it's such a skill.
Thank you. I had my specialty, like I would write the holiday plays for the kids
Oh
and the
my
graduation
God.
ceremonies. But my other specialty was when we would have like every year there would be at least one little girl who would just throw a 15-minute tantrum
Oh,
every day.
I love that.
And I would be the one that would just sit with them and be like, it's okay. You'll get the green marker that you want. I know it feels bad when you can't
Right.
have what you want, because the other and the women I taught with generally had slightly less patience for
Right.
that, and slightly more patience for the little boys that would like hit each other with trucks, and they'd be like,
Right.
no, he just doesn't use he would just forgot to use his words, and I'd be like,
so
"Stop being-"
interesting.
Yeah, it was very funny. It was like, and I'm generalizing, but I was definitely. There were like a couple little girls. We had one little girl who was just like a total maniac and would run
Right.
into the wall and start crying. And I would just always sit with her and be
What
like,
is she doing now?
I don't know. She must be like,
Was she one of the kids?
she was towards, I'm not in touch with her family.
Oh.
She was there towards the end. So she's probably like 9 or 10
Right,
now.
and she's probably.
But there are some of the kids, my first class of kids, because I taught to the 2007, 2008.
Yeah.
So they're like, those kids are like 12, 13 now, which is pretty
Wow.
funny. Yeah. And a couple of parents came when I recorded my album back in Boston, and like 4 of the parents came,
Oh my God!
which was really sweet. And
Look at your face; it's so cute.
I hadn't seen.
Okay,
it's a
sorry.
Jew face.
It's so cute.
Thank you.
So, so you're a kindergarten teacher, and you're writing all these, and you love writing.
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you start doing. You did sketch stuff in college.
Yeah,
right?
I did sketch and I did improv, and I started doing stand up.
Did you do stand up while you were a kindergarten teacher?
Yeah, I did. So I started in college, and then I did it. I was doing it in Boston, but I wasn't writing much other stuff. Like, that's kind of the thing that I would have done differently if I could do it again, was I would just do stand up, and I like kind of, because I was working, I was teaching, I was tutoring on the side, like SAT stuff. I would.
Oh my God! You tutor for SAT?
Yeah, but it wasn't like for charity. It
Hey,
was 'cause
will
they
you
paid
do my
me.
son's? Will you be my son's tutor?
I can give you some tips. I don't
Okay.
have, I don't have like a ton of.
Fuck you.
Always
Tutor
picture
Just
time
give him.
anymore.
All right, give him. Will you?
Yeah, of
Because
course.
he'll listen to you. He won't listen to me
Okay.
because I have a vagina.
you.
And you're cool. Shut up.
So I like wasn't writing scripts. I wasn't writing sketches. I wasn't, working on like a late night packet really.
Right.
So
but you're in it, but not in it.
Yeah, and I was in Boston still.
Right. Where did you work in Boston? Because a lot of New York comics used to go to Boston to get stage time. We used to go back and forth.
I did all the clubs there.
Is Nick's still there?
Yeah, Nick's is still there. It
Oh
kind
my
of moves around a
God.
little, but I do Nick's.
That condo was so disgusting. Go ahead.
Man, I don't even think they do a condo anymore.
Oh, yeah, they
it's all
did a con-
it's mostly
yeah.
local people now. Nick's and the Comedy Connection.
Yes.
I got in at towards the end.
Yes.
The Vault, Dick Doherty's Beantown Comedy
yeah,
Vault.
yeah. What about Kowloon?
I used to eat shit so badly there.
I love that place.
Oh man, you have like an energy that can dominate those people though.
Right.
And I'm just like,
I learned a lot in that because that room was huge and vacuous.
and the people are like rowdy and they hate you.
Right. That was a good learning thing.
I think I would like it now.
Right.
But I haven't done it since like 2009.
But the food was good.
The food was really good.
Yeah.
It's the biggest volume Chinese restaurant in
the world.
Yeah. My friend who's a food writer just went from New York to go there just because of that. And I was like, and she poked her head in the comedy room and took a picture.
Did she like the food?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay, because I ate a lot of that food.
It's called Calhoun's?
Kowloon's.
Oh, Kowloon's.
Kowloon's.
I'm like,
Just
it's a
an
Chinese
Irish-
restaurant?
The biggest Chinese restaurant in the world, and it has an Irish name.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so then you, when did you move to New York?
I came here in 2011. In the summer.
And is that when did you begin writing? Whose idea was this whole Seinfeld parody account?
So the Seinfeld thing was in late 2012.
So when you move here, you're doing stand-up.
Yeah, I moved here to do stand-up, and I'd started kind of like submitting little humor things, places like New Yorker and McSweeney's.
Did you get into New Yorker?
It took me a while, but I eventually did, but not.
What'd you get? Shouts and Murmurs?
I got, the web Shouts and Murmurs. They didn't.
I love that.
Thank you. Me too. I really
jealous right now. Okay.
So I wrote.
Are you like the youngest person to get a Shouts and Murmurs?
No. There's all these people. My friend Jasmine might actually be. She's so funny. Jasmine Hughes. She's so funny and so young. And she had just like one thing that was amazing. I forget what the premise was.
Right.
But it was a couple years ago, and mine went to the web, and hers went like straight to the print magazine.
Oh wow.
And it was, she's great. And she
Most
works at
people read it on the web. I mean, I get it delivered because I'm old-fashioned, but. Yeah, I think a lot of people read it on the.
We get it too, because how else would we have a giant stack of unread New Yorkers?
Right, exactly. That I have a whole joke about that in my ad.
Yeah.
Oh shoot, do you?
Yes. I said if you ever want to feel like shit about yourself, subscribe to the New Yorker.
Yeah.
I mean, I carry them. They're still in the plastic, and they're in my fucking backpack.
Like you're a comic book collector.
Yeah, and I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with me? Okay, so
the guilt.
I do. I think we get it delivered. I never even think to read it, but Maris I think gets it delivered.
Yeah.
But I read. There's a lot of great stuff, but I never think to like sit down and be like, what's in the New Yorker this week, and go through the whole thing.
Okay, so so you're doing stand up and you writing and you're getting little bits.
Yeah.
And whose idea was this? You start doing a Seinfeld parody account.
Yeah. So
as if it was.
So it's called Modern Seinfeld, and the handle is at Seinfeld Today. We haven't updated it in a long time, but
it's funny.
Thank you. The idea is, like, what if Seinfeld were still on the air? It's like very silly. So the way it came about is I started just tweeting it from my account, and then my friend Jack Moore was like, "This is its own thing," and he opened the account and was like, "We should do this." So
Jack Moore,
he is in LA now writing for Not Jewish.
Okay.
Writing for sitcoms. So close.
Okay.
But he's really talented. He's a very good writer and a really funny dude. So we started writing that, and it just took off immediately.
Right.
And that was what kind of like got me in the mix to start like submitting to write for shows.
And you got like 900,000 followers.
It's crazy. It was. It's like it's just one of those things. I had no idea that people had that kind of like thirst for it.
Right.
You know, like I will take some credit in that I think we did a nice job of what we did.
Right.
But so much of it is just like people love Seinfeld.
Right.
There's just like people
and those characters. Yeah.
Yes. The four principal characters and even the auxiliary characters.
Right.
Like people just like love George's parents.
Right.
Like, I mean, obviously.
Yeah.
And the one about Elaine. wait, she went into someone's apartment and got right on the Wi-Fi. And
Oh,
then,
yeah.
That's fucking brilliant.
Thank you.
As if she'd been in the
Yeah,
apartment.
it's so. And there are a couple of good Wi-Fi ones.
Yeah.
Or
And
her speaking with a British accent because
Yeah.
she's into Downton Abbey.
Yeah. Thank you.
At a job
those are like
interview
old
or
ones.
whatever.
Yeah.
And so it was just really fun. And
How many of those a day did you write?
we did? It was a bunch at first. It was like 5, 10, and then it just slowed down. We would do like one a day, or we would do one, and then it became one like topical. Like there would be a couple during the Super Bowl,
Right.
And then it just kind of like slowed down. We
You
got
should have saved
busy.
the beginning one so you could have done
know.
one. Yeah.
I think Jack's
Is
thought
it- was-
was
well, go
that it
ahead.
would, as long as people were still like hungry for it,
Yeah.
instead of just having like 20 total.
Right.
If we had 100,
Right.
people would be more.
So how long would it take you to write one of those?
It was pretty quick, and especially at the beginning, because there was all this stuff that was just like, well, there was no Uber on Seinfeld.
Right.
There were no emojis on Seinfeld. Just like all the
No
little
cell phones.
no cell
it's
phones.
amazing.
That's how it came about. Was the idea of like my friend Dan Bulger. Do you know him? He's a really really funny comic who lives in Boston. He said one time while we were just hanging out, he was like, there would be no Seinfeld if they had cell phones. Like
Right.
half the plot lines would disappear. And I was like, no, you get twice as many, because all you would lose is like, what movie theater are you at? I'm at this movie theater.
Right.
But what you would gain is all the tone problems and the etiquette
Right.
problems. And that's like what the show's really about.
Right.
And
Which is sad because I notice with like 20-year-olds, there's no connection. They don't know how to connect with people.
Even though they know exactly where each other is.
Yeah.
they know exactly what movie theater everyone's at.
Right. It's so annoying. But they don't look you in the eye. They're like, hey, how are you? And they're looking down. All right. So that thing goes wild and you're surprised.
Yeah, definitely. I never expect anything I do to be something people like or know about.
Right.
So that was like the first thing. Like I'd had little stand-up credits that
Right.
like other comics would be like, oh, you're not just some random,
Right.
like you've accomplished a couple things. But that was the first thing that like, if I would get announced as that on a show,
Right.
I would feel in the room, there would be a few people, not everyone, but a few people that'd be like, ooh.
Right,
that guy,
right.
Which is like so nice.
Isn't it so much better
It's such a
because then
great-
they respect you.
It's such a great foot in the
Yeah,
door.
yeah.
And I mean, like I have
or your mouth. Yeah.
it's such a great. Yeah, I can do that myself.
Yeah.
I don't need an audience's help to put my foot in my mouth. But that's
Now, did your mother call Josh? I just heard from Francine down the street. Apparently, you're online in the New Yorker, and the whole synagogue is going crazy. Yeah,
she'll get stuff from people every once in a while.
Right.
But she also is like my mom is like a very good propagandist on my behalf. So she'll
Right.
like send stuff out to cousins but occasionally like it different sources. Like
Right.
my great aunt. And my grandmother, when I would do shows in Boston at like the Comedy Studio in Harvard Square or Nick's,
Right.
and I would just show up in the listings, my grandmother would clip it, even though it was just like a list of names. And
my father used to do that too.
it's so sweat. And
Is
it's
she
like
still alive?
she's not. She passed away.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I don't have parents. Go ahead. Wait. All right, go ahead.
Just got dark.
So it's just very nice. So my mom is like a very kind cheerleader for my career.
Was your grandmother religious?
Medium. My dad's father was the most religious, and then
And so your dad wasn't religious?
no, not at
Yeah,
all. And
that's
my
what usually happens.
and my dad's mother was also not religious at
Right.
all.
So he went with the mother.
Yeah.
Okay. So here you are. You have this success from the. Now, who calls you after this? Like, what showbiz people start contacting you? Like,
So
Josh, hi.
It
I'm
was
with Fuckface Enterprises, and we want to set up a meeting.
I was waiting by the phone for Fuckface Enterprises to call, and nothing
happened? Okay.
No, but it was a lot of people that were like, you should do this as a book, and so we tried to pitch it as a book that was like, would be kind of like a fun spin.
All right, I'm gonna be the person you're pitching to.
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, welcome, Josh. How are you? And this is.
Oh, this is Jack.
Hi, Jack. How are you?
Good. I'm great.
So, yes, we love your parody account on
thank
Twitter. We think it's terrific. So, tell us about the book.
So we had an idea for a book called "What's the Deal with Everything: The Modern Seinfeld Guide
Get
to
it.
Life Today." So it's just kind of an idea of like an etiquette guide in the style of like Seinfeld communication breakdowns.
Okay, that's great. We're looking for something a little more universal. Seinfeld's off the air. Thanks so much for coming in.
It was actually it was.
What was it like?
They shut it down, but it was also the opposite, where they were just like, no, we just like want the tweets. We're like, well, that's what the Twitter
they wanted
is,
a book of the tweets,
and we're just like,
but people can
print
just
'em
go
out.
on
yeah,
Twitter.
for free. And
They wanted it for free?
no. I mean, they can just go on Twitter for free.
Right. Why are they going to have
Yeah.
like a coffee table book?
I
of-
get it. Yeah, it's like they sell them at.
How much would you have gotten for
I
that?
don't know. Like, they never got to that point because I was like, is that even legal? And they'd be like, oh, we don't know.
Oh my God! Remember the episode with the coffee table book?
Yeah, Kramer wanted to make a coffee table book that was a coffee table, right?
Yeah, it could have been a Twitter book that was a tweet.
A computer?
Welcome to Play It, a new podcast network featuring radio and TV personalities talking business, sports, tech, entertainment, and more. Play it at play.it.
So, how do you get you get the John? How did you get the working with John Oliver job? Because it's I mean, everything that we saw said that you got it because of your
interesting.
Tweetar account.
I think that like kind of it's a little simple of a way to put it, but it helped certainly
Right.
because I spent basically all of 2013 just applying to different shows. I did like a little freelance joke stuff for Billy on the Street, which was really fun.
Oh,
it was great.
did you ever see when I used to do the HBO
No.
Man on the Street stuff?
I would love to.
I used to have a show called At the Multiplex with Judy Gold, and I would interview people as they came out of the movie
Oh,
theater.
that's
And it was
awesome.
on for 10 years, and then we're cutting the budget for all the interstitials. So bye-bye.
Oh, weird.
All right, so
kill
he's
him.
so he's doing Billy on the Street, and you're what did you write for him?
So I wrote like I just did like a big packet of like things for him to yell at people essentially and
Right.
like game ideas, and so that was really fun. And then I applied for like, you know, because when you're applying for late night stuff, you have to write things specific for the show you're applying for. It's not
Right.
like you just give them a script or a general packet.
Right.
So I just wrote those all year while I was tutoring and on the road, and doing
And you
other
would
freelance
just
writing.
I was going to say fax. That's how fucking old I am. And you would just email them over?
Yeah, and so
And they would use it. Did they pay you?
Bill, yeah, I did a little. It was so that was like a little real work,
Right.
And then the other stuff was just like to apply for like an open writer position,
Right.
So at the end of the year, the last one I did in 2013 was for Last Week Tonight, which hadn't even started yet,
Right.
So they were looking for staff, and I wrote a packet of submission material for them. I got asked to write a second packet, so it was like the final round of selection. And then they called me and said, we're fully staffed with writers, but we like your writing. We have like this internet job. We want someone to do digital stuff. And we want a comedy writer. We don't just want like someone who's really social media savvy.
Right.
But we know you had this Seinfeld thing, so we imagine that you know enough about social media
Right.
to make it so that you can bridge that gap.
Right.
So I went in for like just a super short meeting, and then I did that for a year.
Well, of course they fucking loved you.
It was great. I think they didn't. My impression was like they weren't screwing around. They weren't going to interview 10 people and
Right.
mull it over. They were like, oh, we like this guy. Like, let's have him in and see if he's. My understanding of some of those interviews is just like, can we sit in a room with this person for an hour? You know,
Right,
like,
right.
Is this person going to drive us all up a wall?
Right.
Starting day one.
So what were some of the things that you did for that social media, like?
So I did all the Twitter stuff.
So like, what's a good one that you wrote? I love those
man.
sneakers.
Oh, thank you.
I was gonna wear my Pumas today.
Oh, those are
Are
great.
those Stan Smiths?
They are Stan Smiths. Good
Oh my
eye.
god,
and they're wool.
I'm a sneaker.
Are you?
Yeah.
I'm getting into it like the last year and a half. These are
I
like
want
wool knit
those.
Stan Smiths. They're great.
Those are fucking great. I have to get those. Go ahead. I have so many fucking sneakers.
Oh yeah, it's becoming a problem in my apartment.
But you know why I have so many sneakers? Because, this is so psychological and mental. But I was
Does it
like,
have to do with the
I was-
depression? The Holocaust? It does, right? Am I right?
No.
Oh.
When I was 10, I was a size 10, and I'm about a 12 and a half. I'm a men's 11, okay? And my penis is huge. And I could never get shoes, and I loved sneakers, and my mother would never let me get cool sneakers.
And being like a men's 11 is like a great size to buy sneakers in too.
Why
So-
wouldn't she let you?
It's too expensive. Judah. We used to have to go to the store on 38th Street, right by the public library. And
excuse me, can I see the shoes you're wearing now, though?
These are Blundstones. They're men's.
Those are awesome shoes.
Those are great.
I love them, and
you.
I want to steal them.
Well, too bad. But I was so into sneakers because I loved sneakers, and I feel like this is mental, but I feel like I can't, first of all, I have like this extra bone in each foot. So I can't really wear women's shoes.
Okay.
And I just want to always wear sneakers, even if I'm like really fucking dressed up. But it's like, I'm not cool enough. Like Sarah Silverman would be cool enough.
I think you can do it.
Oh,
I think
you
it's
totally
so much.
do it.
Yeah, I honestly think when we went to the Emmys this year, I wore Jordans because I'd seen cooler friends do it the year before, like on camera people, and I was like, you know what, I can do it. I was like, what's the difference? So I did it, and it was like, it was great. And like,
and you wore a tux and Jordans.
I wore a tux with Jordans.
You got to wear those with the tux.
These are great. I'm really excited. I have
Where'd you get those?
These were, I think I just got them from the Adidas website.
I love it.
And but I follow like sneaker blogs and stuff.
Oh, really?
Online. Yeah. There's one called Soul Collector that I follow. And
I got to write that down.
SOLE Collector, and then Kicks on Fire is the other one that there might be better ones, but like
these
that's
kicks are on fire. All right. Yeah, I have PF Flyers. Have you ever heard of
those are
them?
good. Yeah.
Yeah, I have several pairs of those. Limited edition, show them. I have Pro-Keds.
Oh yeah.
I have Pumas. That's the ones I always wanted. My mother wouldn't let me get. I have
Pumas?
Adidas. You know, the classic Pumas.
Those are great.
I know. I just love them. I love fucking sneakers. All right.
We're not allowed to wear New Balance anymore.
No, that's not true.
Oh, okay.
My
right.
mom is very distraught about it.
Well, they congratulated him, but none of the money. I don't know. I don't know what to do because that's the one my podiatrist tells me I have to wear.
I know, they're so good.
They're so comfortable. My mom was off that train earlier because New Balance is Boston,
right?
And they, I think, contributed to some big fundraiser he did over
Trump.
the summer. Yeah,
right.
Like even before they were like, no, it's good for trade,
right?
Which I think it like probably to encourage domestic trade. It's like, sure, that probably is good for New Balance. But now, like, white supremacists are like, yeah, we're all going to wear New Balance.
But that's the reason why we should just wear them, and then they have no power.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or they'll think that they got to us.
My mom is really worried that people are going to think that she is like a white supremacist.
Well, it's so bad because every Jew on the Upper West Side wears fucking New Balance.
Of course they do.
Because they're like the most supportive shoes.
All I'm seeing now on telephone wires is New Balance shoes thrown up around them.
They're the shoes that give you the support your parents never did.
That is fucking hilarious.
Thank you.
Tweet.
You have to fucking, you should work for, all right. Anyway. Okay, so now you start working, you're doing the social media stuff. And do you start like saying, hey, I have an idea for a sketch?
So occasionally I would pitch. I hate to be like intrusive and invasive. I try to like stay in my lane. But one thing that I got to do was I would just write. So when we would go on hiatus, we would do like a 3-minute segment, like just on some nonsense that we would do in front of the audience on our last show before the hiatus, and then we'd play it the next week. And so I was just like, oh, I kind of drafted one, and then I worked on it with a couple of the other writers, and they were like, and I was, the next time after we did the first one, I was like, oh, I can just try to write this. Like, I know how the scripting software works, and it's like nothing, I can take it off everybody else's plate. And they're like, sure. So then I just started writing those, which seemed like that was kind of my province, but it was like a way I could expand and like show that I was on the ball. Right. And so I started doing those. And I don't know if that made a difference down the line, but it was definitely, I wanted to be like, I am ambitious without being obnoxious. Yeah, without being obnoxious. Because I think there's like that difference of like, oh, I can take this on. Like I can do this for the good of everyone versus like, check me out, I'm awesome. And I didn't want to be that. But you can't even hate you. Like the other writers can't even be like, that fucking Josh came in. No, because I didn't fucking try to take my job. I didn't want to horn in on anybody else's stuff. So then they just moved me over to the writing staff, and I still oversee the digital stuff, but I have a coordinator that like does the nuts and bolts of it. So who was the first person you called when you got the John Oliver job? Oh man, it must have been my parents. Yeah, it must have been. And then I called my grandmother.
Oh.
And she was very excited.
Did she know who he was?
I think she did. I think she was a Daily Show watcher. This is my other grandmother who's also passed away.
Right.
But she was really excited. And
yeah.
And but I was like, so then my next calls, I forget, those might have been the only 2 calls I made. And then I immediately was like, oh, I have to cancel all my road work. So I spent the rest of the day, I was in Buffalo. I like remember it very vividly. I was at a cafe in Buffalo and I was featuring. And
I mean, I love Buffalo, but it sucks when you're on the road and you have to do that.
Yeah, it was a bummer. It was a bummer to, I had a bunch of stuff I was excited about, but I was like, oh, this is so exciting. And almost everybody was incredibly understanding and supportive.
There's always the one that's like, well, if you want anything, you're going to find a replacement. And it's like, what is your literally, what the fuck is the matter with you?
Do you know how easy it is to find a comic to do a stand-up show? Especially, it was like a lot of feature weeks and like a couple scattered headline things. So it was like, do you know how easy it is? You could throw a rock and hit a feature anywhere in America.
Okay, so...
And yet getting them on a podcast is really tough. What?
V.
P.
Okay, so now you're writing for John Oliver.
Yeah.
And your goal was always to write and then go out and headline when you know.
Yeah, that's my big... I like that.
And you're fucking 31.
I am.
So you... When do you meet Maris?
So we met right after...
This is the girlfriend, by the way.
Yeah. So we... So we met about a month after I got hired. So we met like a month into my job, and she had just started a new job too.
Okay, so where did you meet?
So we met at a party that she was throwing that a mutual friend brought me to.
And did the mutual friend know that you guys were gonna hit
I don't
it
know
off?
if she... I think she knew, because we knew of each other through Twitter and stuff, and we had communicated a little bit, and... but my friend was like, oh, you guys don't know each other? That's crazy. You guys should absolutely know each other. And so I don't know if it was like a specific setup, but it was definitely with the intent of like, oh, of course you two should know each other.
Right.
So I went to this party and we got along immediately. And
were you attracted to her?
Yeah, she's the cutest. She's
I
like
know,
so pretty.
she's so cute.
And she's so smart. She's just like great and crushes it at karaoke. The best at karaoke of anyone I've ever met. All genres.
Okay,
Hey,
sorry.
bossy man,
Sorry.
right there.
Can you clean that up? Go ahead.
Sure, I'm all over it.
So we started dating like immediately. Like so we hit it off at the bar and
Did you kiss her that night?
I did, but
Tongue?
then there was a little tongue. And then we went, like everyone was kind of filtering out of the bar and it was just the two of us. Like everybody kind of siphoned off. But like we had been drinking and she had been drinking starting before I had.
Right.
So it turned from like, oh, am I going home with this one? Like, is that what's happening here?
Right.
And then it was like, oh no, I'm bringing her home.
Right.
So we got in a cab and I took her home and helped her find her apartment and kind of scooched her in and then took it. So she lived in Brooklyn Heights at the time.
And where'd you live?
In Harlem. And
Well played, sir.
it was, but I had to go home.
All the way.
That's
fucking,
why it's
that's
so it's
horrible.
still well
it was
played.
brutal.
Did you take a car?
I took another cab. It was
How much
like,
was that?
It was like 50 something.
Oh my god.
It was rough.
Shit.
It was rough. And it was like I just started working too. I just gone from
Right.
freelance to having a job. I don't even know if I'd been paid yet. And I was
Right.
just like, ooh, this hurts.
Right.
And then so I texted her the next day and I said like, hey, hope you're feeling good. Let's hang out before it's weird that we haven't hung out. And that was what I said. And that's what I meant. Because you know how sometimes even just in a friendly way, you meet someone, you go, hey, let's have lunch. And then you don't for like 6 weeks. And you're like, well, guess that slipped away.
Right. So then what was the second date?
We had a like stone cold sober brunch because I still had a couple road things left. So we went, I drove down to Brooklyn Heights, had brunch with her, and then drove up to Massachusetts for some gigs.
Did you make out that day?
No, it was like 11 in the morning. And we were
right.
both just like waking up still.
Okay, so then you go to Boston, and then when do you come back for Boston?
It was a few days. I think I came back at
And
the end of
then
the weekend.
what? And then
And then our second date was, she was moving. She was about to move. And
To where?
To Greenpoint.
Okay.
And then I came over and helped her pack up her
oh God,
books.
I can't. I need.
just-
I'm getting dehydrated.
So we just packed. We just packed her
Oh,
books up.
jeez. Oh, that got on
Oh
me.
God, I
All right,
can't.
it's all over my lap now.
Oh my God, I can't. I'm gonna puke. All right, good.
So that and then
Did you make out that day?
No, I think
a
I
little
tasted
bit?
it.
Yeah.
You
And-
made out a little.
Yeah. And
Okay.
then I don't remember like when sincerely I don't remember like the first time one of us stayed over at the other person's apartment or whatever, but it was like everything just like was really good and natural.
Perfect. It was perfect.
Well, I mean, I've been in a lot of relationships where it was like, oh, I really like this person, we really like each other, but it like wasn't a great fit as a
Right.
relationship.
Right.
And this was not. It was just like
Easy.
Oh, it makes sense. Like
Right.
we're doing like all this makes sense to both of us.
Right. And now you're. How did you propose?
It's a terrible story. I proposed. The short, sweet part is that we went away for the night at our 2-year anniversary. We just went to Philly for the night to like stay in a nice hotel and go out for a nice dinner. And I had my grandmother's ring and proposed just at the hotel. Because I didn't want to do a public thing. I feel like that's the most
I know.
obnoxious.
I hate that shit.
It's the worst.
So wait. So set it up like you were at this. What hotel?
It's oh man, I don't remember.
Okay, great.
It was nice. It was like outside
Yeah.
this little square with a fountain outside. And
Okay, great.
We were just we got back from dinner and we were just kind of like playing music off one of our phones and dancing.
Right.
And then I changed the music and was like, wait, well, we should. and then
Wait. You were in the room.
In the room, just dancing.
And you
No,
weren't
it wasn't like
stoned.
slow dancing.
And
It
you
was like-
weren't stoned.
No, we'd had a couple drinks.
Okay.
But-
well, like, what'd you have?
I think probably old fashioned. I probably
What
just
is
had
an old
bur-
fashioned?
It is whiskey or rye muddled with an orange and a cherry.
Ew, gross.
And ice, over ice.
Gross. Go
Sometimes
ahead.
people put a shot of seltzer, but
Okay, go.
I didn't even know that. But it's
they're so good.
Ugh.
Do you like Manhattans?
I don't like juice.
Oh,
So
got it.
I don't.
No sweet vermouth, nothing like that.
I can't stand juice.
Okay.
I mean, I
can't
like
stand
orange
juice either.
juice,
Hey,
but like, I'll just have I'll have tequila, but I'll
Sure.
have it chilled.
that's like the
Yeah.
anti-juice.
Yeah.
right.
I
I,
like-
don't know.
I
I
was-
like margaritas. Go ahead.
A margarita's good. I like a
yeah,
martini.
that's-
I like.
I love a martini.
I like a
dry,
savory drink.
dry.
No olive
Oh, yeah.
juice.
Oh, I'll do it with olive juice.
No.
I had a crazy one. You're gonna blow the whistle. They called it a kosher teeny,
Where
and
the
it
fuck is it?
and it-
Where's my whistle?
instead too Jewy swallowed it.
That's funny.
The
What's a kosher teeny?
it was instead of olive juice, it's pickle juice with one pickle slice on the rim.
That's funny because the Jews ate the pickles.
Welcome to Play It, a new podcast network featuring radio and TV personalities talking business, sports, tech, entertainment, and more. Play it at play.it.
So, all right. So now your whole life is perfect. So you're engaged.
I'm just trying to sit very still and try not to screw anything up
right.
before
You're
I
not
die.
gonna. You're only 31. And you guys live together, right?
We do.
Where do
yeah.
you live?
We live in Williamsburg, but we're gonna move.
Where are you gonna
next
move
summer.
to?
She really likes Brooklyn Heights. Is open to like anything in that area, downtown Brooklyn and Barn
Right.
Hill.
And you know you're going to be like the best father in the world.
I don't know if we're gonna have
Why?
kids.
I found it. Ding, 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 ding.
That is not a fault
I
or
know,
a
I'm
negative.
kidding.
We have a
kidding.
dog.
Yeah.
We
What
do-
kind of dog?
Pug.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I saw the
She's
pug.
so cute.
That's a kid.
Okay.
I love
Wait,
her.
it's not a kid.
It's not a kid.
Okay. Don't ever say an animal's a kid
Wow, you're the only lesbian I've ever heard say that.
because it's not. I'm telling you, I've
agree
had
with you.
pets
I
and
agree
I've
with
had
you.
children.
Yeah, I was just saying the thing that pet lovers like.
I know. I can't with that.
I actually like. I don't mind when other people say it. 'Cause I don't have kids, but I don't say it about myself because it's like, no, it's not a kid. That's why it's awesome. Like I
Yeah.
can,
Right.
I like got up. I took my dog for a walk. I gave her a cookie, and then I was like, bye. I gotta go out for the day. Someone's gonna come and walk you in the middle.
and
Right.
that's the happiest dog in the world.
Yeah, she's so sweet.
Okay, so you might not want to have
Might
kids.
not want to have kids.
Do your parents know that?
Yeah, I think they would. My dad especially would like grandkids. My dad loves babies.
Right. What?
He does.
That's where you get your little baby love.
I mean, my mom
baby
too.
love, my baby love. Oh, it's CBS. I can't sing any fucking song.
My
Go ahead,
mom-
play Dutch shit. Go.
My mom loved. I mean, my mom worked in education for years and loves
Right.
kids. But my dad is the one that like, if you're at like a big family party or barbecue with friends, he's the one that's like, yo, give me that baby. Let me hold that baby.
Totally. That's Hamda too.
It's so I'm the same way.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you ran this Tough Mudder race. What
Oh,
the hell?
yeah.
And you won a Cheerios box
So
with your face on it?
It was I did this gig. I was doing all these weird writing gigs.
Right.
My like first 3 years in New York, essentially.
Right.
And one of the maybe the biggest one was this. I got called by Wheaties, the cereal.
Right.
And this is what they said. They were like, look, the Wheaties brand traditionally has found like the greatest athletes
Right.
and the highest achieving physical specimens.
Right.
And use them to sell our product, right? To market that.
Right.
And we decided to go in a different direction.
Right.
So they said they wanted. I did this gig where I blogged about training for this race,
Right.
And then ran this crazy obstacle course. And
Were you in really good shape?
I was the best shape I've ever been in. I wasn't in great shape. I only had 5 weeks, so I didn't even join a gym. I just did like push-ups and sit-ups and ran every day. I ran probably
Right.
6 days a week, and I hate running.
Right.
But I knew
How far would you run?
I would go. I started at like a couple miles, and then my last run was like 7 miles.
Right.
And
You hated it.
I didn't like it.
On concrete?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I
bad
did.
for you.
I ran when I lived in Harlem. I would run up and down like Riverside Park.
Oh,
So
I
it's-
know. I love that.
It's kind of nice.
Yeah,
it
it
was
is.
really lovely. So and that was cool. And there were like days that I did really well at it and was like, oh, I'm going pretty quickly.
Right.
And if you run, there's like that bridge at like 135th
Yeah.
or 125th, and then it's park and there's no streets
Right,
you have to cross.
right.
So that's really, you can kind of get in a nice rhythm, and you can mark I didn't have Fitbit or anything, but you can mark your progress by like, oh, I just went 10 blocks. I just went 20 blocks.
Well, I ran the marathon. I was a runner and everything.
yeah.
And so we didn't have any of that. And we used to keep journal. You have
yeah.
a running journal. And it's so interesting that you say like some days would be great. And then that's exactly what it's like. You have to do it. It's like meditation. Like you have to do it every day. Some days it's going to suck.
Yeah.
And some days you're going to feel great.
Yeah, and I would but I would hate it so much that I would put it off. Like there would be days where I had no appointments and no
you'd
spots.
wait until see, it's so good to get it done in the beginning
yeah,
and then you're
it's
fucking
true.
done.
Because I would go. I think the latest I did was like I left at like 11 one night. And
No
then-
way.
Yeah.
Because you have to do it every
Because
day.
I had to do it,
Damn.
but I was like, I can't not do it.
Right.
And like as punishment for making myself wait, I'll do it as late as I start. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like whatever. So I would go for like a 40-minute run at like
Right.
11 p.m. or 10:30 because I
And
would
you
just put it off
your
all day.
legs have memory. Your muscles
Yeah.
have memory. So, yeah. And then, did you know that if you run two times within a 24-hour period, that's equal to one run?
Really?
Yes.
Why isn't
So
one
it-
run equal to one run?
You can do. Like, say you have 15 miles to, like, when you're training
So
for
if you
something.
split it up,
So if you could do 7 and
Oh,
8.
got it.
And that will,
it still
Oh,
counts.
yeah.
Right.
I thought you meant it the other way. I thought you were like, if you're on 2 miles today and 2 miles in 24 hours, it's still only 2 miles.
Right.
That's
No.
bullshit.
Okay. So, and then you win this thing. You
No,
do-
I came in very close to because they kept stopping us to do like interviews and
Oh,
stuff. It was
right,
me
right,
and
right.
another dude, and so they would stop us to interview, and we did it really slowly. But I felt pretty good getting through it in general.
Right.
And there were a couple of the obstacles that I skipped because I was like, well, this is physically dangerous. I can't
Right.
do it. Like,
Which one?
Wait.
there was.
Okay.
There were 2, I think, but one was like a 10-foot sheer wall with just like a couple.
Oh, I loved that one.
I'm so bad at. Have you done one?
Oh yeah, with
man.
Henda. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was. I enjoyed the whole thing, the experience very much, but
Yeah.
I've just my upper body is just dog shit, and so I
my
could
legs are
barely
dog shit.
get up, and so I didn't have that much of a problem, even though I wasn't going fast. It wasn't like a terrible stamina thing on my legs to like get through the whole 11 miles, but it was like
How long did it take you?
I don't remember. It was a few hours though, and it was like stopping and starting.
There's
Right.
so
And-
many lines,
yeah,
right?
and you have waiting in line as
lines
part of it.
People,
Yeah.
but before each. I used to stutter. I used to have a problem, but sometimes it still comes in.
You have many problems.
Many. I can't believe how long those lines are. 10, 15 minutes. You have to stop what you're doing. You have to stop your heart, stop your muscles, and wait in line.
And you have to wait to like climb a thing.
And didn't your muscles tighten up?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you have to like keep it.
It's ridiculous.
Keep moving.
Yeah,
and
it's
some
really
of them. So I skipped like the sheer wall, and there might have been one more, but I did all the other things.
Right.
And I felt really good. It was a lot of like.
Was Maris like, oh my God, you have such
this
a
was
hot
before.
body? This is pre-Maris.
This is pre-Maris.
So did you have hot body when you met Maris?
No, it had already gone into disrepair. Yeah.
Okay.
Which is good.
Wow.
You're looking
so
good
did you
now.
stop? Did you stop immediately when it was over?
Yeah, I was like, I'll keep it up. I'll probably
Didn't
run like 2
you
days
feel
a week.
good? When
Running?
Even though you hated it, didn't you feel good after?
I felt accomplished.
Yes.
But I didn't like it. Like there are other things I can do to feel accomplished, and that's kind of always my problem with like a workout regimen.
Right.
Is I never get to that point of like it physically feeling great.
Right.
So I just don't.
I don't know what it is, but I love I love working out. I love fucking sweating and lifting weights, and I love that physical shit.
I just hate. I don't mind the other stuff. I like that. I liked when I used to go when I was in Boston. I was dating someone who was like super fitness oriented.
Right.
So I joined a gym just to be like, well, I can't just like let her leave me in the dust in life. So I liked lifting weights, especially because it's like you see the gains over of like
and it's also it's good. It's sort of meditative.
Yes. There's nothing else you have to do, and you can listen to music.
Right.
I love
It's like you're not,
then you focus on whichever muscle you're. Or whatever. It's so boring.
Gets aggression out.
You. I love that you. that you are like, what is a fucking pumpkin spice latte when there's no pumpkin in it?
Oh, what do you mean?
Well, I read something that you were like, why are there all these pumpkin drinks and there's no pumpkin in them? You didn't write that?
Oh, for the show? We did a little piece.
That wasn't my.
No, that was mine.
That wasn't my research.
About the pumpkin. All right, forget that. Okay.
Sorry.
You got really frustrated with pumpkin spice lattes one day.
I must have.
Yeah.
That sounds like me.
Thank you. Whatever. So do you have a really good agent now?
I like my agents a lot.
Are they big time agents?
I don't know. I'm like so unplugged from show business. I still feel.
Well, I don't want them fucking dicking you around.
No, they're great. They do great. They do great for me.
All right, because I really don't want you getting dicked around. I don't know
thank you.
why I have like a little mother thing for you.
Yeah.
No, that's very kind.
So do I. I feel the same way. I want
You're
to
not a
breastfeed him.
mother, and you don't have. You're his age, okay?
That's true.
So
I'm a year older.
okay, great. So you studied English and creative writing.
Yeah.
So you're like very into words.
I am.
And I feel like my brain is so like all the time that sometimes I have a hard time getting the word. I mean, I read and I know words, but I hard time getting the fucking word out.
I think that's part of your, if I may analyze you, like you don't get that enough probably everywhere else.
No,
But
because my girlfriend's a fucking therapist.
Right.
Okay.
I feel like that's part of your OCD because when you are given many choices, you have a really hard time moving forward. And I feel like you know so much. You have so much vocabulary. You love words so much, and you wrap your whole like mind around them. You have so much to choose from. I feel like
and then it just doesn't come out of my fucking mouth.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be psychoanalyzed by you. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. You're also very extremely optimistic. Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
What is that? Like where did you?
What's that?
Now I feel like I'm semi optimistic. Like I don't ever give up. So there has to be some optimism there. Like, you know what? Fuck you. I'm gonna go.
I
but
think
there's
that's for
also
sure
a
an
you suck, you suck,
optimism.
you suck, you suck, you suck in the back of my head.
Yeah.
You're a loser. You're a loser. You're never gonna get it. You're not. Like that stuff goes on.
I have that as well. But that's about. I think like big picture, I'm very optimistic. Where I'm just like, and things have like. I've had setbacks, but like generally I feel like
what's a setback?
Like I had my first late night spot that I booked bumped me and then canceled, and that was like pretty devastating.
Oh, but you know that
Little stuff
I
like
believe that Oh God, Henry wants to FaceTime. That's my kid. I believe that stuff happens for a reason.
Yeah.
Like you were probably not going to do well on or it wasn't meant to be.
It took a while for me to like fold that in as like, well, that's something that happened. That doesn't mean I stink.
Right. But it's not about you. I guarantee you it wasn't about you.
No, I don't think it was.
What was the late night show?
It was when Kamau Bell had Totally Biased, and I was going to do a set on that.
Right.
And they bumped me. I think there were like my material got approved, and then
can I just tell you something? I did that show. A lot of these shows are not organized, and it's not about you.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was towards the end of the run,
but
too.
Then you did Conan, right?
I did Conan,
They were trying to squish a bunch of people in at the end.
I think it was, or they were like trying to figure out like, what can we do? Maybe there was network stuff involved.
Right,
everybody there was so kind to me, like all the people that I met there.
God, see, he goes right for the positive.
But that was like a pretty big step, especially because I've always had this like complex about when people read something I write, they go, "Oh, you should write something for us," and which is very flattering.
Instead of, but I want to perform.
And then
too.
when people see my stand up, they go, "You should write something for us."
Right. That's funny.
So that's.
But you did Conan.
I did.
How was that?
It was really fun. It was like exactly as good as I could have hoped.
Right.
It was so nice.
So on this show, we talk about what pisses you off the most.
Sure.
You seem like someone who doesn't get, like, you don't take temper tantrums, and
it takes a lot. There are like, it's so petty. My biggest pet peeve.
No, I love those. I love petty
I always
ones.
feel okay. I think you will relate to this.
Yeah.
But just because I think a lot of comedy people relate to it, but it's like I feel like such an asshole that this is like the thing that gets under my skin the most. And it's when people ask you for a favor like they're doing you a favor.
I fucking hate that.
It really gets me.
I fucking hate that. All right, tell me your...
And I love doing favors.
Right,
That's the thing. I like 100%. I'm the easiest person to butter up. If you're like, hey, it would really mean a lot to me if you could do this thing for me, I'd be like, yes, of course.
Right.
But when people when people like try to big time me, regardless of how big time they are,
right,
and they go, can you do this favor for me? Or would you do this thing? I mean, it'll be really great for you for these reasons. And I go, don't tell me what's good for me.
Right.
I know how to live a good life for myself.
Right.
Just tell me that you'd like me to do it and that, the compensation isn't what I might expect.
Right.
But you would really appreciate it.
I'll make it up to you.
Yes,
and blah, 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 blah. I hate when people, it's going to be a lot of... I had that done recently by someone who was like, and I had to go to California, no money.
Whoa.
I said, well, you have to fly me first class. Oh, there's going to be all these people in the audience and blah, blah, blah. And I knew in my gut, don't do this. Stop doing shit for no money. And, it's a very important thing, and it's a very important this, and, it's huge in LA and blah, blah. And I go do it. And promise me other things like, oh, you're going to get a part on this and this and that. Nothing.
Yeah.
And not even a thank you.
Wow.
Afterwards.
Man, that is not fair.
I know.
It's not fair either because performers never have a...
And don't do that to another fucking performer.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's very cold. Even on a lower scale, right, where it's like I get a lot of emails from people who are like, hey, I'm thinking about starting writing comedy, or like I'm a new stand-up and I've seen her and I would love to chat. And
I always answer them, but it's like you don't have time.
Yes. I try to answer them, right? And I'll usually say, people go, hey, can I buy you a coffee and pick your brain? And I go, honestly, my schedule's really crazy. Send me, if you have specific questions, I will answer them as soon as I can, maybe even within the same day. But like if we try to schedule a coffee, it could be months. And I was like, it's not a blow off, it's a reverse blow off. But if people go, hey, I thought because you do this and I do this kind of thing, maybe we could talk about this and collaborate on something. I was like, no, what are you talking about? Like if I wanted to collaborate
with you, I would have fucking called you.
Yeah, or I've like, or it'll be people I don't know. It's like I have a million, like my friends are like the funniest, smartest people that I've ever met. And that's why those are the things I love about them. Like those are the people I collaborate with.
I know, and I always feel like those people, like, where do you get the fucking balls?
Yeah.
To say, hey, I'd like to collaborate. Fuck you.
And if it was, even if with just a tiny bit of phrasing, if it was like, hey, I'm working on this project and I would love if you wanted to contribute something. I would appreciate it. I might not be able to do it, but
I just want to call you out right now, Judy.
Why?
So bad. Because you're always like, let's do, like with everybody. You're like, I want to be in that. Put me in that. Let's do something. Let's create. Like,
right.
I just feel like you are always a collaborator. You always want to collaborate.
No, I
with everybody.
do, but I want them to prove that they're going to do their part of the job.
Yeah,
of course.
And you want it to be someone that you know and trust.
So if someone wants to work with me, I'm not going to do all the work, and B, you have to. Do what? What are you saying? What do you?
I guess you're right. I was misunderstanding. So, like, someone comes up to you with an idea, and they pretty much want you to carry it and write your code.
Yes.
It's like you have the connections. You have the don't take advantage. You do.
Oh yeah, no, that's different. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. Because I love the idea. Like, if a friend is like, "Hey, let's do this thing together," like and
then they don't do anything.
Yeah, but I love the idea of like, hey, let's work on this. I have this idea.
Right.
Do you want to like we'll go out and get a cup of coffee and we'll punch it up. Would you do that? I'm like, yeah, of course. I love that stuff.
Right.
But if it's like someone I've never met before, just being like, hey, I had this great idea and maybe we could work on it together. And it's like,
what do you bring to the table?
People
what
send Judy like scripts and CDs and shit all the time. Yeah.
All right. So.
Oh, that's a shame.
Our final question. We always ask everyone this.
Okay.
Because I know you have to leave. And I know the answer. Do you know the answer?
I do too.
And it's so annoying.
The thing is, it would be either all the way one way or all the way the other way. But after this, I do probably agree with you.
We're very, I've gone through a clinical depression. I suffer from anxiety. We're very pro mental health here. And no stigma. So we always ask people, for the sake of all our listeners, and, are you on any antidepressants? And we both think the answer is no.
I'm not, no.
Have you ever been?
No.
Have you ever tried drugs before in your life?
Yes, but no. I tried to do...
Pot?
What's that?
Did you try to do pot?
I got a serious contact high once because I was visiting friends at the High Times offices.
Yeah.
And they smoked out the whole office.
Right.
And I left and was like, I'm definitely stoned right now.
Right.
But I tried to do Molly with...
no, that's bad.
I know.
It's only bad if you do it every day.
And I tried to do
it. It's bad, Lauren.
I tried to do it once with someone I was dating when we went to a concert, but what we bought was not drugs.
It?
I don't know, sand. Like
only you would get.
And so I have tried to do drugs. But that's my one.
And you never, when you're around people that are wasted, are you like, oh, I'm so glad I'm not wasted?
I mean, I drink a little bit. I'm not like a crazy drinker, but I'm pretty patient with that.
Does Maris drink or smoke pot?
Yeah, she drinks as well, but she's not a pot smoker.
I don't want to be a pot smoker anymore.
Why? This is retarded.
Because that's why I feel like all these people are dying in their 70s now.
That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life.
Really?
Nobody has ever died from smoking pot. There's not one.
Yes, it's bad for your lungs.
And yet still no one has died from lung cancer from smoking pot.
But it's just like I think the thing I like about drinking as pot gets more like legal and because you can get it at like measured doses.
Right.
I like knowing like what one drink feels like.
Right.
And I've never gotten to that point.
Okay.
So it's not like
I like it. It helps my arthritis and sleep. There's medicinal.
And
I don't do it during the day. I cannot function.
Well, we think that weed is actually smoking weed is actually the reason why Chemda had not had any symptoms from her myasthenia gravis, because we read that cannabis is a natural neuromuscular transmitter, reinforcer, and so her immune disease kind of
great sentence.
What is the word I'm looking for? Neuromuscular transmitter, make stronger.
Intensifier?
it like lightens up your muscles.
Right.
Cool. Oh, so she
people with
wasn't having
muscular
symptoms.
disorders, benefit a lot from.
And you
the
know what? Your
cannabinoids.
brain's a muscle, so you have a disorder. Josh,
Judy,
I love you.
I love you too.
Huge fan. I
likewise.
really want to work with you. Listen, I got a gig for you.
That's what I mean.
No, but I do want to do the other thing.
Yeah,
that I
let me
talked
know.
No, I get it.
And you know what? If I had a show, I would pick you as top writer.
Oh, thank you.
Oh.
That's very kind.
It's
That means
true.
a lot.
Hell yeah.
And listen, I got some people I want you to meet. I know can help you. And one final thought. Donald Trump is the president-elect.
Yeah.
That didn't piss you off?
I was mostly
Sad.
sad and scared.
Yeah,
Like, I mean,
still.
not as much for myself, but it's just like, oh man, there are a lot of people that were either at risk or were less at risk that are now in more peril and will be in increasing peril. And that that's like a really scary and sad thought. And so I'm trying, and it's overwhelming to think of like, how do I be a citizen now? Like, what are my duties just like every day?
DOODY.
Yes.
Duties.
Yes.
And they're smelly.
Duty.
But you're a Jew, so stay tuned.
Dun, dun, dun.
Will you come back?
Yeah, of course.
I love you. I love him. I want to hang out with you. I know
do
you're
it.
busy. Let's have coffee and
I
I'll
would
pick
love
your
that.
brain. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you, Josh.
Thank you. It was such a pleasure.
You're
to
the
be here.
best and you're perfect, but something is wrong with you and there's a dead body in your basement. Thank you all.
Thank you for thinking I'm successful enough to have a basement in Brooklyn.
Oh, yeah, true. Maybe at your parents' basement.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. And ladies and gentlemen, as we always say, so long!
And everything was wonderful. I'll see you soon. Thank you for the visit. So long.
Hey, I'm Ryan Reynolds. Recently, I asked Mint Mobile's legal team if big wireless companies are allowed to raise prices due to inflation. They said yes. And then when I asked if raising prices technically violates those onerous 2-year contracts, they said, "What the f*** are you talking about, you insane Hollywood ass?" So to recap, we're cutting the price of Mint Unlimited from $30 a month to just $15 a month. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes per details.